What is the next thing that's gonna make us all go, what the like, what the is going on?
It's coming.
Ain't no party like a Diddy party. How many people like openly talked about being there?
Joe Rogan didn't just talk about Diddy. He accidentally walked straight into a pattern that points way past one music mogul and up into levels of power most people never think about. This isn't just about one man going to prison. It's about how a system protects the people above him, no matter how ugly the allegations get. And once you see how it works, it's very hard to unsee. For months, headlines made it look simple. Diddy finally got caught. Secret parties, freak-offs, the fall of a hip-hop billionaire. But on Joe Rogan's show, something different happened. He started lining up Diddy's story next to Jeffrey Epstein's. And when those two stories sit side by side, you don't just see a scandal, you see a structure. A structure where one guy takes the fall while the people above him never even get asked a real question. Before we talk about Diddy, understand the blueprint, the honeypot. A honeypot at this level is simple. You create a paradise for powerful people. Movie stars, billionaires, politicians. No cameras, no press, no rules. Just freedom. But behind the scenes, something else happens. Hidden cameras, microphones behind walls, bathrooms and bedrooms wired. That's what Epstein accuser Maria Farmer described. Monitors showing toilets and beds, making it clear someone was watching everything. That's not perversion. That's leverage. That's an insurance policy.
And so you have these guys, like a Jeffrey Epstein type guy, who works with the elite of the elite clientele. It's all movie stars, big-time politicians, world leaders, scientists, Nobel Prize winners, and they all meet together and have fascinating conversations and cocktails, and there's beautiful girls everywhere. Of course. What a great idea. Right. And if you're naive and you don't understand honeypots.
Here's the quote from Maria Farmer, who was one of the accusers from what was inside the house in New York.
Okay, she said, there were monitors inside this cabinet. I looked on the cameras and I saw toilet, bed, toilet. She said, visibly spooked. Like, I'm never going to use the restroom here and I'm never going to sleep here. You know what I mean? It was very obvious that they were like monitoring private moments. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Maria Farmer was the one who worked at Epstein's office in New York, I think.
And this was the house, Jamie?
Yeah, I was looking up stuff on the house. That was like what they found.
I wonder if the house
in
still has cameras in it somewhere that they haven't found yet.
They definitely, don't know.
Yeah, you'd have to scan the shit out of that house. You'd have to take the walls apart. There's probably listening devices inside the walls. Like, who knows? If this was like really an intelligence operation, yeah, they probably had that house fully wired.
Once you have that kind of footage, you don't need to threaten anyone. You just exist, and they know you exist. Now that you understand the mechanism, the question becomes, where else does this pattern show up? Joe Rogan wasn't just riffing about Diddy going to prison. He was connecting cases. He pointed out a detail about Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell that changes everything. Epstein was accused of trafficking kids. To who, officially? According to court records, apparently no one. Ghislaine Maxwell was convicted of trafficking minors. To who? Again, no one. How does that make sense? You don't run a trafficking network in a vacuum. But every time one of these cases hits court, the facilitator gets named, the customers vanish. That's exactly what Rogan feared seeing with Diddy.
Diddy's going to be in jail for the rest of his life. I think he's probably going to get
Think he's
hit up.
saying though?
I don't know. I don't even think it matters. I mean, it's a lot of it is.
But then it's just another
there's
Epstein.
there's
It's
murder
another Ghislaine
cases.
Maxwell,
But
where
there's
somebody
murder
gets indicted and
cases.
nobody else. Indicted for trafficking kids to
Right,
no one.
to no one. Right. We're like, what is the next crazy thing that's going to explode in the news? Is Bill Clinton's going to have an OnlyFans? Like, what is going to happen? What is the next thing that's going to make us all go, what the like, what the is going on?
It's coming.
Like,
You know it's
how
coming.
many guys were on video saying, ain't no party like a Diddy party? How many people like openly talked about being there?
LeBron?
Yeah, how about Ashton Kutcher? All these people. Like, you guys all went. You didn't see nothing? You didn't see nothing?
Yeah.
He lists off people who bragged for years about Diddy parties. LeBron, Ashton Kutcher, others who openly joked, ain't no party like a Diddy party. Rogan's question cuts through. You all went. You never saw anything? If his parties were just champagne and dancing, fine. But with details leaking about freak-offs, drugging, minors, it's hard to believe nobody with money and influence saw a red flag. The pattern never changes. One guy becomes the entire problem. Everyone above and around him stays unnamed. So if Diddy isn't really at the top, who is? If Diddy was king of his world, someone stands over the entire castle. Sir Lucian Grange, CEO of Universal Music Group. Universal isn't just a label, it's the parent of many labels Diddy worked with. Its influence reaches into radio, streaming, award shows, media. In producer Rodney Lil Rod Jones' lawsuit, Grange and Universal are actually named. The claim? They didn't just benefit from stars like Diddy, they protected them as long as money flowed. The allegation is that Grange attended events at Diddy's Los Angeles home where sex workers and underage girls were present, that he would have known people were being drugged using Diddy's own alcohol brands.
I never thought these words would come out my mouth, but Candace Owens is onto something, and that did not feel comfortable at all. So Candace says the reason mainstream news is not picking up this lawsuit, is not paying attention to Diddy at all, is because of this man right here, Lucian Grange. He is one of the most powerful men in Hollywood and music. And he been up in Diddy's room. So this man right here is Sir Lucian Charles Grange. He's been the CEO of Universal Music Group since 2010, so you know he done seen some shit. So I had to go to the damn documents. I had to see if this man was actually named, and he is. As you can see, it says Lucian Charles Grange, and it also says Universal Music Group. On top of that, it says Ethiopia. I cannot fuck up her last name. I refuse to. But she was also a big person in Universal Music Group. And then Christina Coramham, Lord forgive me, but she was like Diddy's second hand.
Candace Owens raised a key question. If a lawsuit directly names one of the most powerful men in music, why does mainstream media barely touch it? The answer is simple. Men like Grange sit on top of companies that spend billions in advertising and partnerships. You don't casually torch someone like that on TV. Even though some parts of that lawsuit were dismissed, the bigger idea hangs in the air. The machine around a star can be just as important as the star himself. Whenever people talk about who's close to Diddy, one name sits at the center, Jay-Z. These two weren't just collaborators, they were equals, almost like dual kings of the culture. But every now and then, something slips out showing how deep that connection really is.
There's only one person.
Oh, go on.
And I call him Sean. That's Jay-Z. We call each other Sean.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody else could call me Sean.
He's
And
the only person who's Sean approved.
There's not a single person that
Outside
should be,
of family?
That should be outside of my mother.
Okay,
That
just
should be calling me. Yeah, they should be calling me Sean.
Think about that. Diddy is saying there are only two people in the world allowed to use his real name, his mother and Jay-Z. That's not friendship, that's family. When Diddy's legal world crashed, people noticed. Jay-Z's personal, high-profile attorney suddenly appeared in the mix around Diddy's situation. Why is Jay-Z's legal machine getting this close to Diddy's disaster? Coincidence? Or two members of the same inner circle quietly keeping walls from caving in? Then, Jaguar Wright sat down with Piers Morgan and went nuclear. She called both Diddy and Jay-Z monsters, claimed their power suffocated the industry for decades, and questioned why Jay-Z can sit with mainstream interviewers like Gayle King and never get pressed on these rumors. And then, that full Piers interview pretty much vanished. If she was just ranting nonsense, why does that conversation keep disappearing? During federal raids on Diddy's homes, agents seized a massive amount of video. We're talking thousands of hours. This wasn't just a private collection, this was insurance, leverage to keep powerful people obedient without raising a voice. Once the government has that kind of material, stakes change. The question becomes, who controls those tapes now? Who is terrified of what might be on them? That's exactly where Elon Musk went during his conversation with Joe Rogan.
Between Diddy and Epstein, it's good. There's probably several thousand hours of footage here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I should say, I think you voted for Biden.
I'd like to see a matchup of those, called the top 100 puppet masters on the Epstein client list.
Do you think there's some overlap?
Strong overlap. Strong overlap.
When are we going to see that list, do you think?
I don't know. It's mind blowing that they've not tried to prosecute even one person on the Epstein client list.
Will that ever come out, do you think?
You know, I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public. And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes.
And I only ask that because you just look at them and you're like, that's a nervous person right there. I don't know. I mean, I assume you know them. Yeah.
Yes.
He takes it into politics. He floats the idea that part of why certain politicians get overwhelming billionaire support isn't ideology, it's fear. Fear that if the wrong candidate wins, lists become public. The Epstein client list, the Diddy party list, names of people who thought they were in private and were actually on camera. He mentions Reid Hoffman and Bill Gates as billionaires who might feel uncomfortable if those records went public. And here's what people forget. Diddy still hasn't been charged for the hotel hallway video where he beats Cassie, a clip the entire world watched. If prosecutors won't charge him for something that undeniable, what does that say about material we haven't seen? If this gets buried, imagine what stays locked away. If all of this was going on for years, how did nobody close to Diddy blow the whistle? Elon Musk used Jennifer Lopez as the perfect example. She wasn't some random guest. She was Diddy's girlfriend at the height of his early fame, traveling with him, showing up at clubs, in the same circles as these parties. So Musk's point was simple. If she had a front row seat to this lifestyle and all this chaos came out later, how many people did she warn? The answer most people land on, probably no one. Silence stops looking like ignorance and starts looking like strategy. Multiply that across the industry. Rappers, singers, actors, athletes who happily partied with Diddy, shouted him out, and now claim they never suspected anything. Then add the legal class on top. Power attorneys like Alan Grubman represent half the room. They don't just write contracts, they write NDAs that lock victims into decades of silence with threats of financial ruin. If you're a victim under that weight, staying quiet isn't weakness, it's survival.
One of the strangest twists is the appearance of Bishop T.D. Jakes. In 50 Cent's documentary, during segments discussing Diddy's parties, you suddenly see images of Bishop Jakes. No narration saying he did anything illegal, just his face, carefully placed in specific spots. Online, people felt like 50 was sending a coded message. Look who else was orbiting this world. When Bishop Jakes was asked directly, he didn't give a clean denial. He brushed it off with "keep it moving," and then talked about how repentance covers sin, before saying he didn't even need to repent for this. To a lot of people, that didn't sound like innocence. It sounded like tap dancing around a landmine. Jaguar Wright jumped on it immediately. If a high-profile religious leader is near those circles, it's for one of two reasons: money or access. Former bodyguard Gene Deal hinted that if certain tapes surface, the conversation around respected figures moves from rumors to proof. Now imagine what that does. It's one thing to see rappers caught in a scandal, it's another to see pastors dragged in. Because if you can compromise moral authorities, you control entire communities that trust them. And if those people are on tape, you own them. Researchers have started sketching this like a pyramid. Once you see it that way, it's easier to understand how Diddy can be both powerful and still expendable. Bottom layer: famous faces, artists, Jay-Z, Beyonce, incredibly influential, billionaire status, but still where a higher phone call can change their entire career. Middle layer: gatekeepers, Oprah, Clive Davis, label bosses, people who decide who gets a platform, who gets shelved. They know where bodies are buried. Top layer: people whose names you rarely hear, major financiers, political power brokers, tech billionaires, old money, people who can shut down a news story, lean on a prosecutor, or fund a campaign. Notice something? The higher you climb, the less you see those people in any official paperwork. Dave Chappelle tried warning everyone years ago. When people asked why he didn't just take his show somewhere else, he said it would be like running from one plantation to another. Different master, same chains. If someone as successful as Dave felt cornered by the system, what chance does a struggling artist or scared victim have? Framing Diddy as the whole problem feels too convenient. He's not the architect of the pyramid, he's a piece of it, visible, flashy, but not the top. Now that you've seen the pieces, the honeypot model, the pattern of indicting facilitators while clients vanish, the tapes, the label bosses, the lawyers, the pastors, the billionaires, you can ask the question that scares people. Is this chaos of individual sins? Or does it look more like an operation? Look at Epstein, island, jet, cameras everywhere, politicians flying in and out. Look at Diddy allegations, private homes, phones collected, freak-offs going on for days, high-profile guests, thousands of hours of footage in government hands. The mechanics line up with classic intelligence playbooks. Find vulnerable people in high places. Give them what they want. Make sure it's recorded. You never have to shout again. A whisper is enough. So where does Diddy fit? The working theory is he wasn't the mastermind. He was the facilitator, the charismatic frontman, the guy everyone felt comfortable with, while someone else higher up benefited from the material. If he was filming, the real question isn't why would he do that? It's who asked him to, and who expected to own those recordings.
If only Diddy pays the price, the system functions exactly as designed. Because as long as the structure survives, it can always find a new host, a new face, a new party. And the people at the very top? They stay where they always are. Untouched, unnamed, unbothered. So what do you think is really happening? Is this just one fallen mogul, or are we brushing up against something way bigger? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Who sits above Diddy in this pyramid? Stay curious, stay questioning. We'll keep following the trail in the next one.